disagreed with Tony Blair on the war in Afghanistan and Iraq and on his proposal to increase student fees. I wasn't expelled from the party, I wasn't suspended from the party. I was recognised as having a legitimate voice along with a large number of other people. If you start shutting down dissent and preventing people from speaking out, it's not a sign of strength, it's a sign of weakness. A sign of strength is when you can absorb and listen to the other person's arguments. I want to see the end of the Tory government, this Tory government that has presided over this enormous growth in inequality within our society. Working class communities are about 20% worse off than they were at the time of the great crash of 2008-9. And this government that has persisted with so much draconian legislation, police law and others, which try to shut down the right of dissent and the right of protest. But what has become more depressing is the growing sympathy between the two front benches on economic strategy in our society. If I'm in Parliament and the government comes forward to put more money into the National Health Service, I'll be right behind them. If they want to put more resources into education and end the stress of testing, I'll be right behind them. But if they come forward with an economic strategy which further enriches the very richest in our society and further impoverishes the poorest in our society, then I will be speaking up against them and speaking up for a society based on social justice, based on need, and a world based on peace and environmental sustainability. Being a member of Parliament is an enormous privilege. And in Parliament, it means being prepared to take up causes that are sometimes...
He's also hot. He's always been hot.
...not popular. I was involved from the very beginning in the campaign for the innocence of the Guildford Four. 4 young people who were disgracefully imprisoned on life sentences for a crime they did not commit.
I'm a Corbyn gooner, 100%. I'm a gooner. I'm a gooner for Corbyn.
It wasn't very popular to take up that cause, but over years we eventually won that cause and they were released. Being a member of Parliament is lots of long hours and hard work. I'm not afraid of that. This election is obviously a very important one, and defeating the Tory government is very important. But there's many diverse forces that are opposing this Conservative government. All kinds of political alliances will arise after the election. I say to socialists all over the country, stick to your principles, carry on campaigning in all the social justice and peace causes you do, and also participate in the election so you can advance the ideas of a socialist society. To the people of Islington North, thank you for your support. Thank you for all you've taught me over the years. It is a wonderful community, cohesive, united, determined to bring about social justice. Yes, we have huge issues to deal with, but we deal with those together. And it's my joy to work with all of our communities, in our community centres, in our schools, on our housing estates, to try and bring about a better world. Our campaign, and it is ours, not just mine.
When you hear him speak and the love that you feel for him, you have to also remember, like, dude, imagine how people felt about, like, Lenin. You know what I mean? Like, imagine how people felt about Ho Chi Minh. Imagine how fucking people felt about Tito. Like, these are, because, like, think about it. If you, not everybody is going to align with their opinions, okay? But, like, imagine how people felt about Che or Fidel Castro. Like, can you, dude, being a socialist, being a follower of Castro in Cuba at that time, you're like, oh my God, the world is the greatest. This is the greatest opportunity of all time. You will never, ever, you will, of course, look at, no, he's nowhere near Lenin. Man, shut up. That's not the comparison I'm making. I'm trying to help people understand through contemporary politics, like, why there's so much idolization of, like, former socialist leaders, okay? Because those are the guys who actually also got shit done. They didn't get shafted and destroyed. This also demonstrates why there's so much, like, idolization of figures like this that remains throughout time, especially if people were alive back then, okay? That's the point.
For the general election is going to be people-powered. Check it out on votecorbyn.com and join in. Together, grassroots politics here in Islington North will get into Westminster.
Anyway, yeah, I saw the photos. The zoom in on my marrow. Vote for Corbyn on Islington. Fuck, man. England could have had it all, dude. They could have reliably had it all. But what did they have? Oh, by the way, Donald Trump is, of course, glazing Nigel Farage. I mean, we haven't even talked about this fucking piece of shit, Nigel Farage. Congratulations to Nigel Farage on his big win of a parliament seat amid Reform UK election success. Nigel is a man who truly loves his country, DJT. You know, just a little international fascist collaboration. We already talked about Keir Starmer receiving fewer votes than Jeremy Corbyn did in both 2017 and 2019. And also, the other incredibly damning aspect of this election is the fact that the Conservatives got 6.7 million views, 119 seats, and Reform got 4 million views. Reform is literally a fascist party, okay? Do not let any single person try to steer you in a different direction. Oh, so he said views? Oh my God, votes. Fuck, my brain is so broken. I'm a content creator, okay? I'm a content creator. I'm stupid. Okay? Shut the fuck up. I'm a view count Andy. Listen to me. Let's get back to some serious shit. Okay? 4 million British people went out and were like, oh, the fucking fascist lad, I like it. Okay? That is crazy. Don't just look at the seat number. You have to look at the fact that Reform got second place. Okay? Reform got second place in 98 districts. 98. Okay? No, not third. I'm telling you, this is... Oh my God. It is so fucked up. It is so bad. Yeah, it's the British Union of Fascists. Exactly. They are that. That's what they are. Okay? Anyway, support for the hard right surged. Conservatives went from 43.6%. Hard right Reform got a 14.3% boost. Labor up by, from 32.2 to 33.8. Like a very modest increase at a time when like the conservative is they're tanking. Labor center left lol. I mean, it's insane that it is a center left party. 2% to 14%, dude. Edingermentum says a dead dog would be leading the Tories by 20 points. The only thing that Labor's dipshit campaign has done is let Reform surge. Anyway. Yeah, I got the full New York Times article. Thank you for sharing it, by the way. Thank you for giving me a free article, chatter, and anyone else who clicks on it. What does Labour's landslide mean for UK's political future?
Now, all number of electoral records have been broken today, and there are a lot of statistics to digest. But when you give each constituency in the UK equal visual weight, it really lays bare the enormous shift we've seen from the 2019 election to now. Well, I'm joined now by Alistair Campbell, who worked for Tony Blair. He's now a podcaster who writes children's books about democracy. Sir Craig Oliver, who worked for David Cameron, and...
That's such a funny thing to do, dude. That is... That's awesome. My man writes children books about fucking democracy now.
Liz
That's
Lloyd,
sick.
who worked for Nicola Sturgeon in the Scottish government. Alistair Campbell first. this idea of loveless landslide, a term coined by our political editor Gary Gibbon, a vote against the Tories but not for Keir Starmer, does that store up problems for the future?
Well, it is a fact that people wanted to get rid of the Tories, but there had to be a viable alternative, and that was the difference between today and 4 years ago. The country sees a viable alternative, and loveless or not, a win is a win and a landslide is a landslide, and a big majority is the opportunity to deliver the kind of change that Labour are talking about. So I don't buy all this stuff that this is some sort of, Pyrrhic victory. It's a huge victory. He's only the fourth person who's led Labour from opposition into...
I just want to show you some. Alistair Campbell proposed legal threat to the BBC amid Iraq war coverage row. Files reveal government papers released to the National Archives show animosity between broadcaster and Number 10 Downing Street in the early 2000s. The former Number 10 spin doctor Alistair Campbell suggested setting lawyers on the BBC, while Tony Blair was warned to expect a magisterial rebuke from senior figures at the broadcaster as the row over its coverage of the war in Iraq intensified in the early 2000s, government papers show. So, Alistair Campbell is what The Thick of It is based on, which is what Veep is based on. It's written by Armando Iannucci, who I really like. Death of Stalin is another work of his. And wait, what? Biden is live? What the fuck? Oh, no, it's a campaign event. Teleprompted. It's teleprompter shit. I don't care about that. Anyway, the funniest thing is the funniest thing about this person and their career is that they're like our version of like Brett Stevens, David Frum and Brett Stevens, like those guys. Okay. It's just like now he's writing children's books about democracy. It's sick. Thanks, man. like he went from his strong advocacy work in killing Iraqi children and threatening the BBC for covering it a little bit to writing books for kids. Anyway.
Majority government, and he's now got a mandate for change.
Well, Sir Craig Oliver, absolute catastrophe for the Tories. Do you see any leadership candidate capable of rebuilding the Tory party, or is it over? I mean, Jacob Rees-Mogg just said on this programme that Boris Johnson should be a contender.
Look, there'll be endless people mouthing off in the next day or so about who they think should be doing what. And I think that the thing the Conservative Party needs to do is just take a little bit of time and reflect. And perhaps that's the last service, or great service, that Rishi Sunak can do to the Conservative Party, which is stay on as leader, allow them some breathing space, take stock, and not take rash decisions immediately.
Well, Liz Lloyd, I just wonder if you could tell us how the SNP comes back from that. The same sort of question that I just asked Sir Craig, really. Is this an existential problem for the SNP?
I don't think so, no. But I think they do need to take some time.